It's Friday. You know what that means. Oh, now here's a question I love to answer. Where did I meet my husband and how long have we been together? Okay, this is a fun story. So I met my husband in 2000, all 21 years ago. Actually, 21 years ago in April. So I was single, ready to mingle. And I was just kind of looking around online and I was chatting with different guys. And suddenly, out of nowhere, some guy interrupts the conversation and says, "Hi, my name's Kenny Farringer. What's yours?" That's how I met my husband. And so he and we started talking for a while. We talked for about a month. We actually started talking in March, not April, but our first date was in April. I had to go with my mom to Kansas. Her father, he passed away, and he was dying. So I went and stayed up there for a week, and I gave Kenny my email address and everything. I didn't hear anything back for a while, and I thought, oh well, it is what it is. Um, Funny story here. So I was in the shower. This is a few days after we were in Kansas. My mom busts into the bathroom. She didn't even knock. She just says, "Gabby, there's a guy on the phone for you. His name's Kenny." Yeah, so I got on the phone with him. We talked for 3 hours every day for the rest of the time I was in Kansas. And when I got back, we got together, went on our first date, which was on April 25th. That was 21 years ago. And that first date was when we decided we wanted to be together. And so that's kind of how I met my husband. We were married in June 17th, 2006 at a place called Five Oaks Lodge. And it's in just outside Jinx, Oklahoma. It is it's a lovely lodge thing. We love lodges. That's one thing we're passionate about, and which is why we're going to Gatlinburg. And so we got married there, and then we had our honeymoon was actually a 4-day trip to Walt Disney World, the Port Orleans Riverside, and 3-day on the cruise, the Disney Wonder. His mom and dad paid for the whole thing. So we had a wonderful vacation, wonderful time. That was how I got introduced to Disney. I'd never been to Disney before in my life. I'd never even been on a plane. So that was a lot of firsts, that trip. Couple more questions. These are really good, guys. What did you do before you started back to college? Okay, so this is kind of an interesting story. So originally, first of all, you have to understand this. You have to know my history, okay? I went to Tulsa Community College in 96 to 99, and I studied liberal arts, and I worked at the TCC Connection as business manager. And the boss I had, he's no longer with us anymore. So he passed away. And so then in 99, I transferred which I'll talk more about why I transferred with the next question. I transferred to the University of Tulsa, where I went to school at the University of Tulsa for 3.5 years and got my Bachelor of Arts in Mass Communication. And that was in 2002. And what I did in between, I worked at home, and the reason why I did is because I got in a very bad accident right after college graduation. I fell down some stairs onto concrete, crushed my lower right leg, like this. Like, it was like that. And I could not walk. It wasn't weight bearing. And I was basically in a wheelchair for about 5 months. And I had to go through a lot of therapy, and it hurt. It hurt. Let me just put it to you this way, okay? When your foot's done like that, what they will do is they will have to put it back into place because it's straight out. So then they have to put it into place, like your foot's supposed to be, right? They don't just, yeah. What they don't tell you is that they'll grab a hold of that thing and just, yeah, it hurts. My physical therapist had to do that slowly with me over time, because when they first tried to mold my foot back into place, I was screaming bloody murder because it hurt like hell. So it did finally go into place, but it took a long time. So after 5 months, I walked, and so I started working at home to give me something to do because I was in a lot of pain, and I hurt for 2 years. 2 years. Almost constant pain for 2 years while the nerves and muscles in my leg knit back together. And I could not get a job outside the home because I couldn't put my foot down for a long time because it hurt. Even though I could walk on it, it hurt. And so I started working at home, doing press releases, things like that for different companies. Well, that grew. And eventually I started doing writing for like online web content and doing for different companies like Guru and Odesk, which is now, Guru, Elance, Odesk, things like that. Different clients on there. I would do all kinds of content for them. And so I did that for a long time. And I loved it. And I would do like health articles, school articles, travel, all kinds of things. Well, eventually that dried up. It got to where they wouldn't want to pay a lot, or sometimes the client would back out and not pay you at all. And I need a regular paycheck. So in 2018, my husband got the opportunity he got promoted. And he went from like department manager to assistant manager. And he had to go on a training thing all summer long. Well, because of that, we were going to go to Japan with his parents, but we couldn't do that because then he took that job. And that meant there's a lot of things we couldn't do, and I didn't want to sit at home and be bored because there wasn't a lot for me to do. So I decided to go back to work, and I applied for different jobs. I applied for every job you can think of. I ended up going back to college because I've always felt like I've always been one of those people who I felt more successful in college than I did outside of college, if that makes any sense. It just is. So I started back to school, and I brought up my GPA because it wasn't as high as I wanted it to be, because TU kicked my butt. It was hard. And I started going to TCC Connection where I used to work. And I was interested in working there, but I wanted to wait till I could get hired. So I started going there and getting involved in like the hiring process. And then in December 2018, I was hired to work at the TCC Connection. And I've been working there a little over 2 years now. And I'm going to redo this one part. I'm going to just go on record and say that I am going back to TCC, that I am getting my 2 associates, the first one especially, to rectify a mistake that I made many years ago, not involving the school, but involving my ex. And he's gone out of my life, thank God. And I don't know where he is today. I don't care.